As you just heard Freddie say, his camp's been tough. He's been tough on players, and some of them have had what he called a culture shock.
Yeah.
Do you think Kitchens is in the process of changing the culture of Cleveland?
Yes, he is. For us to use, those words, culture shock, then of course, if players are feeling it and they're talking about it amongst themselves, then it's a good thing. He seems to be a player's coach, but a little bit different with a twist. What most people say about players' coaches is usually more passive. They spoil their superstars, they don't have tough camps, and when it comes to disciplining their players, they don't do it as well as they should. If those things are the case, which I have no problem with, if he can add in the fact that he's making his camp tough, that means you almost turn the definition of a player's coach on top of his head. And I think that's the perfect way to address a group of young superstars who all in their own right at some point were the man. Jarvis, Miami, the man. Odell, New York, the man. Baker Mayfield, that dude's walking around like he runs the world, and rightfully so. But the fact that he's making it tough for these guys, it almost makes things easy in the regular season.
I like that he's saying that. I don't feel like it is tough. I feel like it's fun and a great time.
Fun, but Kay, Thursday night they had a preseason game. Friday they had a padded practice.
That's crazy.
Woo!
That's unheard of. I believe 11 of 13 practices have been padded.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams, it's a lot of things on air. They're hitting in practice, and that's what he's trying to do with the culture. I was at a dinner recently with a lot of NFL folks, and the biggest topic were the Browns, and the table was split.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought, hey, look at the roster, and the other half was, but what about Freddie Kitchens? Is he ready for this? I think it's the most fascinating team this season, and there are a lot of differing opinions on it. Freddie Kitchens might be the most valuable and most important person in their process.
I'm fascinated about that dinner.
Yeah, never mind that. It's very in the lead. We've seen this before. We've seen coaches come in and try to be tough guys right away. We're going to change the culture. And, the padded practice after a game is hilarious to me. There's an old phrase that, a coach will use sometimes after a game. Keep the tape on. Just keep the tape on. We're going to go work right now. It's a very try-hard approach. But I'm kind of coming out with Nate. If you're looked at this goofy guy with the goofy name, with the goofy sound bites, with the funny sideline moments, maybe you got to come in and kick some teeth in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your friend. I'm your head coach, and I don't care what you like. Let's look at some of the personalities here. If you believe that Odell was someone who was coddled, if you believe that Jarvis butted heads with his head coach in Miami, maybe you got to get him into shape a little bit, and I don't mind it at all. But I think if you start losing, the players we're not doing this. Enough with these padded practices. If you win, it works. We'll see you in the opener.
I just don't know if the culture shock or culture change should be given to Freddie Kitchens. I feel like it's a little bit more of a Baker thing. Is that crazy to say?
No.
Absolutely right.
Because, and it's not about the toughness. You're calling the shots, and I get that, Freddie, but this team is no longer the low-hanging fruit. Nobody is using this team as a punching bag, and there's split tables at dinners instead of the entire table looking over the Browns and thinking they're a joke. And to me, that starts with Baker. Just Baker.
100%. This table was split.
It's a different atmosphere.
Who's the veteran guy that's going to take care of any problems with whatever comes up in a regular NFL season? And a lot of the responses are, hey, Baker, he's 23, but Baker's that guy. They all respect him.
We disagreed on this. I think one of my favorite moments of last year for the Browns was Baker and Duke Johnson. If you're not on our train, get out of here. And I know it broke all the rules, and he talked about someone else's money, and Nate and I disagreed, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Duke Johnson's now gone. Baker's running the ship. I think that is a culture type thing, and I know it rubbed people the wrong way, especially ex-players.
Yeah.
But it's all coming at Baker for me.
And I'm not mad at that because, I love Baker too. So
I know.
if you sit on that side of the fence, there's part of me that agrees. But there is something to the fact that Freddie Kitchens is not saying that they don't have a leadership council. That's kind of concerning. At some point, there has to be a group of guys,
Who are the guys?
that can control the narrative of the team, that can talk to the team. Because as much as coaches feel like they can communicate with their guys, oftentimes, you got to close those doors. Coaches are sitting in their office, and you got to have a heart-to-heart of coming to Jesus moments with the players. Who's going to be those 5 individuals that stand up and say, listen, guys, we got to get this stuff together. They need that counsel. And I would encourage Baker Mayfield, Odell, Jarvis, whoever it is, build something. Build something now. Because when it gets rough, when those waters get rough, and it will, it can't be the coaches motivating you. It has to come from within.